Oh, and before we get started with this video, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm currently doing monthly rewards for my Patreon page. So what do the monthly rewards contain? Well, they would contain 2 digital art prints that are drawn by me, as well as a special bonus digital art print that would be like a badge of honor for anybody who joins my Patreon page. So basically, if you become a patron for my Patreon account by the end of each month, I will give you guys 2 digital art prints, as well as a special bonus digital art print for you guys to have as your own. So for July's monthly reward, I will be awarding new patrons a digital art print of Invader Zim and Daggett Beaver, as well as giving out a special bonus digital art print that has the patron badge of honor on it. So if you decide to become a patron between July 1st through July 31st, that would give you guys these 2 digital art prints as well as the special bonus digital art print. And I will either be emailing you these art prints or I will send you a private message through Patreon that contains these digital art prints. So if you want to have a digital art print of Invader Zim and Daggett Beaver and the special bonus digital art print, then please feel free to become a patron on my Patreon account by July 31st of this month. And now let's get back to the video. All it takes to take down a mob is some guns, knives, and a milkshake. Hey everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog and welcome to my in-theater movie review series. So today's movie I'll be reviewing today is the Netflix action film Gunpowder Milkshake. And before I get into my thoughts about this movie, here are a few words from the channel. Alright everybody, it's time to get on the social media train. Want to chat with me in 100 words or less? Then check out my Twitter account. Want to talk about movies, TV shows, and video games within the group? Then check out my Facebook account. Want to check out some of my ultra cool fan art? Then check out my DeviantArt page. Want to get the lowdown on everything that's happening on this channel? Then check all of the above. And now, we return to our regularly scheduled program. So the film starts off with a hit woman named Scarlett who's forced to abandon her daughter Sam because she's being chased by the mob. And because Scarlett had left Sam behind, this causes Sam to turn into a hit woman herself, but she ended up being cold-blooded as a result. One day, however, while Sam was on a mission to kill off somebody who stole money from her organization, she ends up accidentally killing the guy who stole the money from her organization, and it turns out that the guy stole the money because his daughter was being held for ransom. And so once Sam realizes this, she decided to go to the people and get the daughter back, and because of this, she ended up losing the money to the organization. So now the organization that Sam once worked for are now gunning after her head. And so Sam spends most of the film trying to protect the 8-year-old girl while trying to avoid getting hit by the mob. So what are my thoughts about Gunpowder Milkshake? I really enjoyed this movie. Like, this movie is what I would say is a combination between Kill Bill and Birds of Prey. It reminded me a lot of Kill Bill because the main character is a strong female character who's able to take down the mob by herself, and she utilizes a lot of impressive martial arts moves that she uses to take down the mob. And it reminded me a lot of Birds of Prey as well because you have an anti-hero who's forced to take care of a young child while fighting against the forces that are after them. So I do like the mix between Birds of Prey and Kill Bill in this movie, and I think it gels well with this movie and made this movie be its own thing at the same time. Now that I talked about the gist of this movie, let's talk about what I did like about this movie. First off, I really like the characters in this movie. The characters are really interesting, especially Sam herself, as she's shown to be this cold and ruthless hit woman who's forced to work for this organization, and then she ends up going rogue once an 8-year-old child is in danger. So I like the fact that Sam goes from a remorseless killer to trying to protect this little girl throughout the movie while still using her martial arts skills to take down whoever gets in her path. And then we get to understand her character a little more as it explains about why she's so cold-blooded, because her mother had left her without a good explanation. So I do like the fact that we get that backstory about Sam herself, and we see how that has affected her throughout the years. And then I also like Angela Bassett's character, Anna Mae, in this movie, as she plays as an ally to Sam. And I like the fact that she acts tough and yet is still caring towards Sam, and I like that aspect of her character a lot. And then another thing I really liked about this movie were the visual effects. I love all the visuals going on throughout this movie. Like, I love seeing all the neon colors that's being thrown throughout this movie, whether it be like the city lights at night or it be during the fight scenes, like this one scene where Sam goes into a bowling alley and you see a lot of neon lights throughout it. And I just really love the coloring throughout this film and the visual effects. They look so beautiful and they really made this film very creative to look at. And then another thing I liked about this film were the fight sequences. As I mentioned before, this film is a lot like Kill Bill, as in you have the main character using martial arts as well as using guns to take down any foe that comes across her way. And I just love how she's able to take down all of the foes throughout this movie by being very creative with her moves. And it's like the most fun part of this film, just seeing Sam fight all of these villains throughout the movie and seeing her take them down in creative ways. And then the last thing I really liked about this film were the performances themselves. Karen Gillan did such a fantastic job as portraying Sam, as she made Sam into this ruthless and cold-blooded character. And yet, when the young child comes into the picture, we start seeing a softer side of Sam, and we get to know more about her backstory, about how her mother had abandoned her and how she was upset about that. And I like how Karen Gillan is able to give Sam this cold personality, and yet this warm personality when it comes to the young girl. So I really like that aspect of Sam's character. And it was great seeing Angela Bassett in this film. I always love it when Angela Bassett shows up in the film, and she does such a fantastic job with her character Anna May in this film, as she makes Anna May into a tough yet caring character as well. And I like how all these characters have both a tough and a caring aspect to their personalities that make them likable, and I think Angela Bassett is able to balance that very well in this film. Now, here are a few problems that I do have with this film. The first problem I have with this film is that sometimes the pacing in this film can be a bit slow at times. Like, there were times where the action was very low, or there were times where the characters like talking too much, and I kind of get a little bored when those sequences happen. And then another problem I have with this film was that I wish that they developed the secondary characters a little more. Like, I want to know more about Anna May's character as well as the other hit woman and what their backstories are like. And even though we know a lot about Sam and her mother Scarlett, I wish that we knew more about the hit woman themselves and the secondary characters in this film. But overall, I give Gunpowder Milkshake a watch it. This was such a fun movie. If you're a huge fan of Kill Bill or Birds of Prey, and you like the styles of both of those movies, then you'll definitely enjoy Gunpowder Milkshake. Well, that's my review on Gunpowder Milkshake, and tell me in the comments down below, have you seen Gunpowder Milkshake? And if you have, did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? And what was your favorite action movie that has a female protagonist? Please feel free to tell me in the comments down below. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you guys later.